Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. My name's Oliver. So for today's video, we have an episode recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 5. This whole episode, I'm gonna have to recreate a lot of scenes, and I'm gonna have to do that all today. I can't do any tomorrow. So it's gonna take up the entirety of my afternoon and evening, but anything for y'all. So it starts off with Whitney singing, and she's giving a bunch of girls invites to her telepathic tasting. By the way, this whole episode takes place just at this telepathic tasting. That's it. It's just here. That's how great this episode is. It's just amazing. Heather arrives first, and then following Heather, it's Mary, and Mary is like, why are we here? Because they're at a vineyard, and Mary's like, why are we here? Because the owner offed himself and his wife on Christmas Day, and their dog is now messed up. And I'm like, oh. But anyways, after this, Angie, Bronwyn, and Meredith show up. Mary said that Meredith's outfit looks like a walking virus. Then Whitney gives a speech about how she used to be free-spirited, and that resulted in Justin losing his job. So she tried to be normal, and that didn't work out, aka her company, like, not doing so well. So she's going back to being free-spirited. So then Whitney flew in a psychic, and then some people are like, ooh, okay. And then Mary's like, not today, Satan. And then they sit down and have smoked salmon, and Mary's like, I'm not eating anything raw, because she thinks it's tartar. But did she say it was tartar? I don't know. Anyways, Angie said that she wants goats and horses and a bunch of land, and Brittany's like, oh, like, are you selling your house? And Angie's like, yeah. And then Brittany looks it up, and she's like, oh, it's listed a little bit high, but also, why did you ask me to list your home? Because, you know, I'm an agent. And then they're trying to figure out, like, who has the richest zip code. That was such a fun conversation. Following this, Angie and Brittany go back and forth about Angie's house, and then Brittany is like, oh my gosh, Jared is calling. And by the way, they were supposed to be on a break for like 30 days. It's only been 24 hours and they're still talking and whatnot. Whitney says that Justin and Jared were talking, and Jared said that he pays for everything for Brittany, and then Brittany low-key starts crying because he's saying that she's a gold digger, essentially. Then, while this is happening, Whitney's flowers fall twice, and that's kind of a sign that she and Jared should not be together. And then Brittany goes into the meeting with Terrence, who's the psychic. Back at the table, Meredith is like, okay, girls, I have some concerns. Lisa, did you spread any negative rumors about my family? And then basically, it was basically what Angie talked about last episode. And Lisa's like, no, I don't know what this is about, but I'm sure Satan does. AKA Angie. Like, she was looking right at Angie when she said that. And then Angie's like, I don't make anything up. And Lisa was like, yes, you do. Meanwhile, Brittany and Terrence talk about her daughters, and he can see that she's not communicating with her daughters. And Brittany's like, whoa, there's no way he could have known that. And then Bravo literally plays a whole montage of Brittany saying that she just does not talk to her daughters and they don't have a great relationship. Anyways, after this, it is Angie and Lisa. They are going at it. And Lisa's like, you talked about my kids. And then Angie's like, no, I haven't. And then Lisa's like, yes, my kids, brand, hello. And then Heather's confused as to why Meredith isn't more pissed at Lisa, because Lisa does have a bunch of information on people. She's done this before. That's why Heather's confused. Following this, Brittany comes back, and then Bronwyn goes to meet with Terrence. And he says that she needs to be paying attention to her mom because her mom is ignoring something in her blood numbers, and she should make peace with that relationship. So Bronwyn starts crying a bit. Back at the table, Angie's like, I'm confused why you came in to pick up your kid's product. And Angie's like, okay, well, let me tell everyone about the text you sent me about going on trips with other people's money. And Lisa's like, yeah, I heard that you did. And then Angie's like, oh, you think I use other people's money? Here's my black Amex. Like, boom, throws one. But not just that. She's like, here's my black Amex company card, and here's another one, and here's my third one, and here's my black Amex Prada wristband that I can just tap to pay with anything. This is literally, what is it, from Dr. Nicole, remember Housewives of Miami, like that black Amex thing? Yeah. That's exactly what that was from. Oh my gosh, love it. Anyways, Lisa's like, you can dish it, but you can't take. And then Angie's like, I'm gonna come over there and pull your ears farther back than they are after your facelift. And that Lisa looks like she's been in a wind tunnel. And Lisa's like, I'm taller than you, shorty. Then Bronwyn comes back, and Heather goes to Terrence. Angie and Lisa are going at it again, and Lisa's like, oh my gosh, like, they can't stop talking, and they both want to have the last word. And then Bronwyn's crying, and Meredith is like, oh my gosh, girls, stop yelling. And then Bronwyn explains what happened, and then she's like, Angie, don't say things by people's kids, and Lisa, you need to stop going low. And then Whitney's like, can you two just go over by the pond and yell over there? And Angie's like, no, I'm not leaving Bronwyn. And Lisa's like, yeah, I'm not leaving either. And then they keep going at it. And then Angie's like, pick up my black card and go to Nordstrom. Lisa's like, I don't shop there, but you do. And Angie says, your boyfriend goes there to shop for you. And then Lisa's like, what about Soup Man? Everyone's like, what is Soup Man? And Mary's like, I'm starving. I'm gonna have to recreate this entire dinner scene. My day is gonna be so booked. Oh my gosh. Then they try to separate Angie and Lisa, but then Lisa walks up to Angie, and Whitney gets in the middle, and she's like, can y'all just stop? And then Lisa's like, if you can dish it, you better be able to take it. And then she goes into like the room with Terrence. And then Lisa starts crying because she says that she and John are on different planets, and it's hard. Actually, I already recreated that one, by the way. Heather and Whitney are like, okay, it's kind of crazy hearing Angie talk about how it's weird that Lisa digs up stuff on people when she was literally okay with her doing it at the time. And Mary agrees and is like, you were literally okay with her doing it. And then Mary's like, Angie, shh, just listen. Like, when Lisa was your friend, you went along with her. And then Angie goes into Terrence, and he was like, you're trying to start a new business and a new product. And Angie was like, oh my gosh, yes, like I'm trying to do sunglasses. Honestly, I would like to see what her sunglass line looks like. I would like to see that. Then he says there's gonna be a horse injury sometime soon. And then, meanwhile, Lisa says that her time with Terrence was fine, and Whitney's like, I don't know why Lisa always has to appear perfect and, like, surface level with us. And then Angie comes back, and Meredith goes to Terrence, and of course, Angie and Lisa go back and forth, and Lisa's like, enough. And then she also says that Angie has the thinnest skin. Lisa walks off, and Mary and Whitney go talk to Lisa. Angie goes to get her gift. She brought a gift. It was a big, like, plastic tub of something. And she interrupts Meredith's talk with Terrence, where he says that Meredith doesn't trust this one friend's narrative, and that she shouldn't let that pull her down. I wonder if she's talking about Lisa. Interesting. But yeah, Angie brings back the gift, and it's basically every single thing that Lisa gave to her. And it actually includes a horse. Just know that. A toy horse. And then Lisa is like, you're just upset that I'm working with Kerastase. And then Angie's like, no, you're not. And then Lisa is like, who is my best friend? And then Angie's like, Ben Affleck. And then Lisa calls the head of Kerastase, or she was about to call the head of Kerastase. Then Brahman is like, oh my gosh, both of y'all have great hair. The only person who has bad hair is Brittany. And Brittany's like, now why am I in it? Oh my gosh. Following this is Whitney. She goes to Terrence, and he says that she's stressed about her business, and Whitney says that she just loves Justin but resents him because he didn't want any part of Wild Rose Beauty. And then Terrence says that she has a friend that's a snake, and right when he says that, Lisa Barlow walks by, and then he says that she doesn't need to cut off the friendship, but she should cut off the chaos. Then Angie says she's not going to be bullied. She starts crying though. She's not going to be bullied, and she literally takes the toy horse and throws it. And that's what Terrence was literally talking about the horse and the injury, because, like, one of the legs broke. Yeah, Angie's crying, and then she's like, Lisa's degrading me and my business, and Mary is like, stop, it's not that deep, and that Angie's, like, in a blind rage. And then Mary says that she doesn't like being around all of that, and then Mary says Angie is strong. Angie says, yep, I am strong, and I'm not going back to this stupid friendship that you've all gone back to. Mary's like, me? And then Angie's like, yeah. And then Mary's like, oh, okay, I'm done with you. Gets her stuff and walks out. And Mary's basically like, I'm not gonna be mad at Lisa because you're mad at Lisa. And Angie's like, I'm not gonna take it, and I'm not doing anything illegal with Soup. Because it's like, what is going on with Soup Man? Like, what is Soup Man? What? Okay. Then Brahman is like, Angie, I've had the same experience with Lisa, and you can only control yourself. And then Angie's like, but do you guys, like, see what she's doing? And then Heather's like, yes, like, we all see it. And then Angie's like, I'm not afraid of her. Then Brittany's like, oh my gosh, Jared's calling. Let me call him back. And then Bronwyn, like, is, like, on the phone with Jared. And is like, Jared, do you pay Brittany's bills? And then he says, yeah, he's helped her from time to time. And then Bronwyn's like, okay, Jared, Brittany's giving you up for Lent, so she'll see you in May. And then hangs up the phone. And then Whitney sings again to end the episode. This is a lot, but it was so good, but a lot. I need to quickly edit this video and have it up today so then I can start making all these TikToks. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a long day. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did making it. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.